Today we are going to discuss about the skin and fascia. Introduction: skin. First we go through the skin, then we discuss about the superficial fascia, then deep fascia, which is lying on the bone. Skin coloration. Skin is the best indicator of the general health. Three skin pigments, melanin, carotenoid, and hemoglobin, give the color to the skin: white, black, reddish. Function of skin: skin protection, provide protection to the body, cushion and insulate, and is waterproof. Cushion means give softness to the body, and insulate means protect from the heat and cold, and is waterproof. Water is not allowed to enter into the body from the skin. Protect from the trauma, chemicals, heat, cold, bacteria. Screen UV light which comes from the sun. Synthesis and storage of vitamin D, capable of absorption, drug and excretion, sweat. Regulate body temperature. Prevent insensible water loss. Sensory perception, nerve endings, ability to regenerate. If it is destroyed, then it can be regenerated. This is the picture of skin. You can see the sweat gland is there. Motor nerves and sensory nerves are there. Right? Pores on the skin are there. Hair shafts, hair comes out from the skin. Hair erector muscles are there which keep the hair straight. And this skin is divided into three portions. At the top one is epidermis, the middle one is dermis, and the lower one is subcutaneous tissues. There is another figure which provides the detail of the epidermis, first layer on the top. The first layer is also divided into three parts. First is known as stratum corneum. Second portion is known as the stratum granulosum. The fourth portion is called the stratum spinuosum. And the fifth is known as stratum basilae, base of the. So skin is divided into three portions: epidermis, dermis, and subdermis. Epidermis is further divided into three portions, that is stratum corneum, stratum granulosum, stratum spinuosum, stratum basilae. Four parts. How it works: in stratum corneum, cells are dead, represented only by the membranous sacs filled with keratin, glycopeptides, lipids in extracellular space. So you can see that how the first layer stratum corneum is formed. The second layer cells are flattened, organelles, deteriorating cytoplasm full of transmitted granules, release lipids and keratohyalin granules. The third layer, the stratum spongiosum, is made up of cells contain thick bundle of intermediate filaments made up of perikeratan. And the last layer, stratum spongiosum, cells are actually metallic stems. Cells, some newly formed cells, become part of the more superficial layer. Then starts the second. This was this we have discussed about the epidermis. Consists of four layers. Then come the dermis. So first we have seen that layer of the epidermis, which is consists of four sublayers. If you come from the bottom, stratum basale, lower epidermis layer, neodermis, good nutrient supply, reproduced by mitosis. Cuboidal columnar cells are there in the shape. Move to upper epidermis within 27 days. Then second layer, bottom to upward, living cells, stratum spongiosum, living cells, dividing 8 to 10 cells thick, polygonal in appearance. Stratum corneum, 25 to 30 cells thick. Cells are filled with the keratin and hardened. Slog off outermost layer of the epidermis. Keratinocytes. Then we come on the second layer of the skin, which is further subdivided. We call it, sorry, first we see the type of the cells present in the epidermis, first layer. Keratinocytes produce keratin, tough fibrous protein. Melanocytes, neural crest origin. Merkel cells, neural crest origin associated with the sensory nerve ending, especially in the perception of the light touch. Then Langerhans cells, bone marrow origin located in the basal, spongiosum and granular layers, act as an antigen presenting cells. Then we talk about the layer of dermis, composed of loose areolar connective tissue, finger-like projection called the papillae that extend towards the epidermis. The papillae provide the dermis with a bumpy surface that interdigitates with the epidermis, strengthening the connection between the two layers of the skin. This is the shape of the skin, which previously I have shown you. There is a hair follicle, folds are there in the skin top in epidermis. Dermal papillae, subpapillary vascular plexus, these arteries and veins and nerves are there. Appendix of the skin. Erector pili muscles are there which keep the hair straight. Eccrine sweat gland which produce the sweat. Hair follicles, hair roots. So we have seen the skin, epidermis, dermis, papillary layer and reticular layers. Hypodermis, superficial fascia. This is the shape of the skin. Reticular layer. The region lies deep in the papillary region and is usually much thicker, contains the skin appendix. It is composed of dense, irregular connective tissues. Fibers are collagens, elastics, and reticular, give the dermis its properties of strength, extensibility, and elasticity. Cells, fibroblasts, macrophages, mast cells, and granules. Thin, hairy skins and thick, hairy skins. Histologically, we can differentiate between thin layers and a thick layers, which is present in front of you. You can see arrangement of different layers in thick and thin. Surface tension lines or skin creases form a network of linear furrows which divided the surface into polygonal or lozenge-shaped area. These lines, to some extent, correspond to variation in the pattern of fibers in dermis, and we call it tension lines. Tension lines, cleavage lines, or Langer lines. There are three types of lines which can be seen in this photograph. These are tension lines of the skin due to the pattern of the arrangement of collagen fibers in the dermis. These lines were first described by the Langer in 1861 on cadaver. Cadaver means dead person. Tend to spiral longitudinal in the limbs and run transversely in the neck and front. At the elbow, knee, wrist, and ankle are parallel to the transverse creases that appear within the limbs are flexed. Skin incisions that are given parallel to the tension line usually heal well with the minimum scarring because of the minimum disruption of the collagen fibers. Means in surgery, when they cut the skin, they go through these lines. They cut the parallel to those lines to provide minimum injury. Then stretch mark in the skin, damage to the collagen fibers in the wrist due to the overstretching as in pregnancy or abdominal enlargement. The person who has got a big tummy, they have got such type of lines on their stomach. And a woman pregnant, she has these lines on the stomach. And we call it stretch mark in skin. Now we talk about the wrinkle lines caused by the contraction of the underlying muscles present prominently to their axis caused by the contraction of underlying muscles present perpendicular to their axis of the shortening. On face, they are known as the lines of facial expression. Aging makes them permanent due to the loss of skin elasticity. Flexural lines of the joint lines, major marking found in the vicinity of the synovial joints where the skin is attached strongly to underlying deep fascia, prominent on the flexor surface of the palm, shoulder region. Skin lines does not necessarily coincide with the underlying joint line. Here is the figure. You can see the flexure line, normal palm creases, and semen creases. Some has got a straight one line, some has got broken line in the two. Papillary or epidermal or friction ridges. A ridge is a raised portion of the epidermis on the finger and toes, the palm of the hand, or the sole of the foot, caused by the underlying interface between the dermis papillae of the dermis and the interpapillary ridge pegs of the epidermis. Along the summit of each ridge, the upper apertures of the set that's open at a regular interval. Dermis determine the development of pattern of the epidermis. Fingerprints is an impression left by the friction ridges of a human fingers. This is genetically determined, unique to the individual, stable throughout life, and serve as a means of personal identification. The analysis of which pattern by the studying fingers and footprint is known as the dermatoglyphics. The dermis is the receptor site of the pigment of tattoos. Most of the people they put on their body through the subcutaneous injection. Cutaneous blood supply. How the skin get the blood. The dermis contains horizontal arrangements, superficial and deep fluxes. Fluxes means groove of the vessels, which are interconnected via the communicating vessels oriented perpendicular to skin surface. Lymphatic system is also there. Blind-ended lymphatic capillaries arise within the interstitial space of the dermal papillae. These unwalled superficial dermal vessels drain into the valves, deep dermal and subdermal plexus. Skin innervation means the nerves which are present in the skin, free nerve endings in the basal layer of epidermis detect pain. Merkel cells of the epidermis detect light touch. Meissner's corpuscles also detect light touch. These are found in the dermal papillae and most concentrated in the finger tips. Pacinian corpuscles are found deep within the dermis or even in the subcutaneous tissue. These structures detect pressure. Hypodermis or superficial fascia, which is attached with the bone, fibrous mesh filled with the fat, connect the dermis to the underlying layer of the deep fascia. Fat is absent in eyelids, pin of hair, scrotum. Muscle fibers are present in the subcutaneous tissue of the scalp, face, and scrotum. Deep fascia, you can see in the figure, where is the deep fascia? Dense inelastic sheet or membrane separates superficial fascia from the underlying structure. It either invests or binds structure, named according to the area of the body it covers. Modification, intermuscular septum, reticuli, gland in the skin. Skin consists of the several layers. Some of the accessory structure of the skin, that is, hair follicles, sweat glands, and oil glands, originate in the dermis layer of the skin and protrude through the epidermis layer of the skin, resulting in hairs, sweat, and sebaceous oil emerging from the surface of the skin. There are several types of the tiny structure called the glands in the dermis. Different type of the glands in the skin release different type of the biochemicals. The chemical emerge from the gland via pores in the skin, which are tiny channel or opening through the outer epidermis layer of the skin that open at the outer surface of the skin where they can release sweat, oil, etc. This is important for many reasons, including, for example, regulation of the blood temperature via release and evaporation of the sweat and protection of the skin against fungal and bacterial infection by the sebum. There are billions of pores and associated glands throughout the surface of the skin. Different areas of the skin part of the body have the different quantities and concentration of the different type of the gland in the skin. How many different types of the glands are located in association with the skin? Some sources say that there are only two types of the glands in the skin, sweat gland and which is known as cerulifluous gland, and the oil gland which is known as sebaceous gland. Other sources list three types of the gland in the skin: cerulifluous glands, sebaceous glands, and cerulinosus glands, of which the latter is present only in the external auditory canal, means in the air, that is the outer air. So there are three types of glands in the skin, two on the skin and one in the air. Now we will see that sebaceous gland, also known as oil gland, is produce oil. That's why your skin become oily surface. Most are associated with the hair follicle. They secrete either into the neck of the hair follicle or directly into the surface of the skin via the pores. Sebaceous glands are located on most of the surface of the skin body, but not in the palm of the hands or sole of the feet. They are not present in two places, palm and sole. Secretion: sebaceous glands secretes an oily substance called the sebum. Sebum helps to protect the skin and hair by preventing hair from becoming too dry and brittle, preventing the skin from becoming too dry by preventing excessive evaporation of the water from the surface of the skin. Hence also helping to keep the skin soft and effective, restricting the growth and development of the certain bacteria. Also note the activity of the sebaceous glands increases during and sometimes beyond teenage years, adolescence. Overactive sebaceous gland can result in the accumulation of the sebum in the gland and or pores, causing the affected gland to become enlarged and the appearance of the black head and other disturbances to the skin commonly arouse on the face. Now we talk about the now we discuss about the sweat gland, also known as sweat glands, cerulifluous gland. Different types: apocrine glands, duct open in the hair follicle; acrine glands, duct terminate at the sweat pores at the outer surface of the epidermis; tension lines, armpit, the skin of the axilla, pubic region, pigmented area of the breast. Acrine glands throughout the skin except for margin of the lips, eardrums, nail beds of the finger and toes, nails. Secretion: cerulifluous gland secretes sweat, which is also known as the perspiration. Apocrine glands secrete a sticky, viscous secretion, while the secretion from acrine glands is thicker, watery by comparison. So there is a difference in the texture of apocrine glands and acrine glands. The main function of the secretion of sweat are to help regulate body temperature and to help eliminate from the body some of the waste product of metabolism, that is metabolic reaction. Mammary glands, female breasts are modified cerulifluous glands but produce breast milk. Now we talk about the third gland which is present in our air, outer air. You can see in this figure also. The specialized sweat glands located in the hypoderm drain into the gut hairs, produce serum, cerumen, or the air wax by mixing their secretion with the sebum and dead epidermis dermal cells. Ceruminous glands, the wax glands of the air duct open either directly onto the surface of the external auditory canal or in the duct of the sebaceous gland. The external auditory canal, also known as the colloquially as simply the outer ear. Secretion. The prefix "ser" means wax. The secretion from the ceruminous glands combined with the sebum secretion secreted by the nearby or associated sebaceous gland to form cerumen, which is also known as colloquially as earwax. Cerumen assisted by the hair in the outer ear protect the air from particles or originating outside of the body, for example, dust, fines, and other similar in the air getting into the air itself. Cerumen provides a sticky barrier that prevent many such particles from going further into the air. In some cases, the body produces excessive amount of the cerumen. This can cause accumulate, harden, and compact, reducing the effectiveness of the sound wave reaching the ear drum and therefore adversely affecting the hearing. People affected by excessive earwax are warned against putting an even soft object into the air to dislodge the airbags because this can cause further problems. For example, if compacted cerumen is unintentionally pushed further into the air or other objects such as the cotton buds detach and also gets stuck in the air. Here again the figure of the gland of the skin. You can see the arrangement. Sebaceous gland is here, which is near to the hair follicles, hair shaft. Then apocrine sweat glands are also shown in this figure. Acrine sweat glands is also shown in this figure. Sweat glands are present in the dermis, not in the epidermis. Near the epidermis is only sebaceous gland and sweat gland. This is acrine and apocrine glands. In the bottom there is an adipose tissue. These fat tissues. So this is all about the skin we have discussed up till now. If you have any query, you can ask, and we will continue our lecture next week. No, sorry, tomorrow. And I will request all the students to join the class. Today, no one has joined the class. I have sent you the link, but unfortunately, none of the students has responded. Even the CR Kinza is not present in this meeting. I can see she has not replied now. So you have to be present in the class, in the next class, and you must respond to the teacher. So today we have discussed up till chapter 26, right? So you have seen we have started right from the beginning. We have covered a lot of portion. Your presence was not there. You are on marked absent. No response from the CR and the other students. So today we have discussed about the integumentary system, means skin system. We have talk about the three different parts of the skin, superficial fascia and deep fascia. We talk about the skin color. We talk about the function of the skin. We talk of the epidermis and its four layers: stratum bacillus, stratum spongiosum, stratum granulosum, stratum lucidum. Then we discuss about the cells of the epidermis, that is keratinocytes, melanocytes, Merkel cells, and Langerhans cells. We talk about the dermis also, reticular layer of the dermis we have discussed, surface tension lines we have discussed, tension lines and cleavage lines and Langer lines we have discussed, skin incision we have provided the knowledge how we use these lines to give an incision to the skin. Then we talk about the stretch marks in the skin. Wrinkles lines we have discussed. Flexure lines or joint lines at the joint, there are lines in the skin. Capillary and epidermis friction regions we have discussed, like on the thumb. Fingerprints we have discussed. And we talk about the subcutaneous blood supply, means the skin blood supply. Lymphatic system we have discussed. Skin innervation we have discussed. There are different type of nerve cells are present on the skin. Free ending, free nerve endings on the basal layer of the epidermis. Merkel cells present. Masonry cells will give you light touch sensation. Merkel cells also give you light touch sensation. We have discussed about the Pacinian corpuscles. These cells, nerve cells detect the pressure. Then we talk about the hypodermic and superficial fascia. We discuss about the deep fascia. Then we have started the glands in the skin. There are three types of glands we have discussed. Number one is sebaceous gland or oil gland. Number two, we have talked about seminal glands. Seriferous glands, we have discussed 12 glands. Then ceruminous gland, which is present in the outer layer of your external air. So this is all for today. Next class, we will discuss about the hair structure. So today we have discussed about the skin, and I request all the students to follow this lecture. If you not, or you, if you are missing anything, or you cannot understand anything, please you can contact, and I will further elaborate and discuss about this topic. So this is the end of the lecture.